Next one now, we are going to triplets. 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 So triplet is simply, like you know, group of 3 notes performed in a time of 2, or so group of 3 notes in time of 2. The 3 notes could be anything. It could be 3 crochets in time of 2 crochets, 3 quavers in time of 2 quavers, and so on and so forth. Normally, you have 3 written above those 3 notes that are to be performed as a triplet. Okay? So, for example, if you want to perform these 3 crochets in time of 2 crochets, okay? So you could have it like this, okay? Or you could also have it above if you want. Okay, so it can be any way. So now, this is just straightforward. This is just very straightforward. So it means when you see this in your music sheet or in a music bar, you don't count it like 3, you count it as 2. You give it the value of 2. So normally they will give you a time signature, they will say, oh, well, and then they'll put triplets there. You don't count 3. You sing those 3 notes, but in terms of the syllable 3, but in terms of the time is the value of 2. So it's like you are kind of submerging, kind of reducing the size of fitting 3 things to fit the size of 2. Yet it's still 3, but it's in time of 2. So that is pretty much that's pretty much true. And it doesn't matter. A rest can come in between them. Okay? We're looking at the value. So you're looking at the value of 3 notes or rest in time of 2. So if for example, you could remove this, and I can have still a crochet. Okay? It's still a triplet. Okay, whether the rest is at the beginning, you can even have rest, and a note. It's still a triplet. Is that okay? Are you with me? All right. So, and it's for this. This is just an example using crochet. It can be any other note. Okay. Any question on this? Okay. So no question on that. So we move on to next topic now is ledger lines. Ledger lines. Ledger lines. Ledger lines, of course. In your grade 1, you know that ledger line, you extend the stave, right? With little horizontal lines to kind of extend the stave. But you only did 1 ledger line above and below in grade 1. This time you are doing 2 ledger lines above and below. So, but for treble stave and for bass stave, you should know by the time you are going 2 ledger lines from the bass stave, you're already on the first line of the treble stave. Okay? So you have the bass stave. If you have your bass stave, for example, if you have your bass stave here, okay, so this is what letter is this? The last line. What letter is the last line here? 5th line? A. So this space is B, right? So first ledger line C, then this is D, and then the second ledger line is what? E. So this E is what? The start of your treble clef. Start of your treble clef. Okay, so, and then you can also take it down. What's this? Then this is F. Then first ledger line is what? E. Then you have D. Then you have C. Right? And then you can also extend this one. So already you know that from your treble step, you see you are going down. So the second ledger line is the last line of your bass clef. So what note is this? What note is this? What line is this? F. Then it means this is G, then this is A first, B, and then this is C. Second ledger line is C. Okay. This is just straightforward. All right, I don't think you should have problem with this. Okay, any question? Okay, I'll just clean off this then. So the next thing on your, we want to look at relative keys. Relative keys. Relative keys. Okay? You already understand what relative keys is all about. Okay? So we are still going to talk about minor and major scales. But it's good we introduce what a relative key is all about. Okay, so let me go back now. We're looking at relative keys. Relative keys, you've done it before, but just to revise it, like I said, if you have struggle with any of these, you can go to the video proper where we took time to treat the topic to be able to gain more insights. Yeah, but generally, we have, like you must have been taught, you have the major scales and the minor scales, right? Okay. The major scales, or what you call, the major key, the minor key now. So these are relatives. Relatives means they are related to one another. Every key you find in the major key has a relative in the minor key. You just need to, every key you find in the minor key has a relative in the major key. And how many keys do we have in music? 12. If you count the black keys and the white keys of the keyboard, 12. Okay? So all those 12 keys, they are both major and minor. Okay? So now, just without wasting much time here, okay? So let's, how do you find, so let's say you have a major key. You have a major key. The relative of that major key is, how do you get the relative minor of a major key? The relative minor of a major key.
You can't backward retrieve notes, so it has to be the 6th note of that major key.
Good. 6th degree gives you the relative minor. Okay? 6th degree gives you the relative minor. So, for example, C major. What is the relative minor of C major? 6th degree. A, C, D, E, F, G. On the scale of C, you just go to the 6th letter. That's A minor. So what that simply means is that these two, they are not the same key, so do you understand? C major and A minor, they are not synonymous. They are not synonymous, but the only thing is that they share something in common. What do they share in common? The same key signature. That's why we say relative keys. The only thing that is similar is the key signature. Like, this is natural, this is natural. Then you can take it up to, if you have, I'll just do one more example and I'll leave the rest with you. So you have B flat major. What is the relative minor of B flat major? You say? G minor, yes. So it means they share the same key signature, and we're going to look at key signature later. They share the same key signature, which is what? 2 flats. And those 2 flats are B flat and E flat. So they share the same key signature. The same thing, now let's take it off. Let's say you have, so this is this. So let's say you have a minor key. How do you get its relative major? How do you get its relative major?
So it has to be 3 plus 4.
Third degree. Third degree, right? So let's say, I'll just do only one example for this. D minor. What is the relative major of D minor? F major. F major, yes, correct. So it simply means that both of them share the same key signature. Like I said, don't make the mistake, they are not the same keys, just that they share the same key signature. Does that make sense? So that is all about relative keys. Any question? Any question? Okay. There are no questions. Can I rub it off, Naomi? Okay. Now we're almost getting to the end. All right, so we're now going to major scales. Major scales. Okay. In addition to everything you've done in grade 1, there are 3 major scales that has been added to you in grade 2. What are those 3 major scales? A major, B flat major, and E flat major, right? Yeah. You must be able to know, there are 2 things you must know. How to, number 1, or 3 things. Number 1, how to construct, you must know how to construct each of these scales. Okay? Ascending and descending. On the treble and bass clef, treble and bass staves. Okay? You should be able to do them on treble and bass staves. So this is number 2. Be able to identify the semitones. Identify the semitones. And number 3, you should be able to arrange the accidentals on the key signature appropriately. So these are the three things that you kind of need to learn how to do for each of these three keys that I've just mentioned: A, B flat, and E flat major. All right, so I'm not going to go through everything, but maybe we'll just take one at a time and see how it goes. Okay. But the good thing about major scale is that the way you ascend is the way you descend. So there are no complications, right? Once you get your ascending, just follow it down, descending. So let's take A major, for example. I'll give you a very simple way of going about any major scale. Now, there are different things you've been taught. We taught you. You could think about looking at it from, for example, so there are different things. For example, you can say tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. Oh, that's brilliant. Fine. You could use that to construct your major scale. Just draw your keyboard sketch and then you move on. Okay? Or if you can do it mentally, even if you don't want to draw a keyboard sketch. But one thing you must know when you're doing your stave is that every letter must be represented and no two letters must be repeated. So you don't say A flat and you don't say A and A sharp. Rather, you say A and B flat. Okay? So this is fantastic. You could do this. This is one method. But there's another method you could just, now normally where do you have semitones? Where do you have semitones in the major scale? What positions does the semitones occur? Between what notes?
Between the B and C and E and I.
No. You're talking about C major. I'm not talking of C. I'm talking of, yeah, you're correct. But think about it in terms of the number, degrees.
Oh, okay.
Between the third and fourth note, and then between the what? Between the what? Seventh and eighth note.
Sixth and seventh, sorry.
The seventh and eighth.
Oh, okay.
The eighth note is the octave.
Okay, yeah.
All right, so if you just know this, even if you forgot this, if you know this, fine. So I won't touch tone, tone, semitone. If you want to know more about that, go back to the video where we talked about, where we talked more about, major scales. But let me just do this for the sake of argument. Okay? So let's say I was asked to consult. Okay, tell me which scale do you want me to do? I'll just do one. A, B flat, E flat. Which one do you want me to do? A flat. A flat is not there.
E flat.
E flat. All right. So let's construct the scale of E flat major. Okay. I have my lines and spaces. Do you want me to do it on a treble clef or on a bass clef? All right. Treble. Now, the first thing you need to do is get your first note first. What's the first note? E flat. I mean, that's the name of the note. So not E, E flat. Not E, E flat. You must get that note very well. So where is E here? Where is E? So first line, so let's make it E flat. Okay? I've put my first note, E flat there, right? Then don't worry about it. If I want to, let's say I've forgotten my tone, tone, semitone, tone, tone, I don't even want to bother about it. I just want to get this. So I'll just say, well, I need 8 degrees, have you? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right? 8. Okay. Finished? Good. Where do I have the semitones? Where do I have the semitones? No, numbers. I'm talking of numbers. Where do I have the semitones? Number. 1, 2, 3. Third and fourth. So I put this there. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 7. Good. Finished. So what do I need to do now? I have to make sure that from this, that that means apart from this, every other thing should be a tone. Right? Apart from these semitones, every other thing should be a tone. So I can now start and say this is E flat. What is this? Is it a tone? Is this a tone, E flat to F? Is it a tone? Yeah. So this is correct, I leave here. What is this? G, so it's a tone. Okay? So what is this? What is Hey? This is Hey. Is it a tone? I mean, is it a semitone? Semitone. So what should I do to this Hey to make it a semitone? Because no, G, this is G to Hey, it's a tone, but it should be a semitone. That's what I'm saying. So you flatten it. So I had a flat here. Good. So you see, I have A flat now. So this is what? What letter is this?
D.
So this is A flat to B. It should be a tone.
B flat, sorry.
All right. So if it is A flat to B, then it is a semitone. No, A flat to B is 3 semitones. But I only need a tone.
Yeah.
So I have to bring it down by 1 semitone. So I have to put flat here. Good. So I have B flat now. B flat to C is a tone, right? C to D is a tone. Then D to E is a tone, but should be what? So what do? I drop it by, and that's why it's easy. So it's very easy, right? Very simple. And then when you are coming down too, it's just the same principle. You know, if you've gotten your ascending, you can just do the same thing descending and make sure you put the flats. So this is. You put the flats in the appropriate place. Okay. Sorry for this. It's not very. It's not very. Okay. So that's it. So do you understand? So it's very straightforward. So you could use tone, tone, semitone if that's what you like using. It's still the same thing. So this is, if you think about it, this is tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. So it's still the same thing. So I'm just saying, if you have forgotten your tone, tone, semitone, you can say, okay, I've forgotten my tone, tone, semitones. Let me just write out this whole thing from the first note without putting flat or anything, and just get where my semitones are, and then now systematically make sure that every other thing that should be a tone is a tone, and the semitones that should be a semitones are semitones. You understand? That kind of also makes sense. So you could do the rest. You could do A major on your own. You could do, it's the same principle. We could do G major on your own. But the last thing I want to talk about on this major scale is, this is accidental method, all right? So you could be giving, accidental method means I'm putting the flats where they are on the notes. Okay. Okay? So you can be, if you are giving something like this and they ask you, maybe you are giving notes with different flats and you are seeing that the flats are, and they say, what key is this? Don't say, oh, because nothing is here, it's C major. It's not C major. They're only giving you accidental. You have to go and check all those flats that are there. If I put them together, what key do they form? Or all those sharps that are there, if I gather them together, what key do they form? All right? So this is accident. But I could, generally in music, we use key signature. So we take all these flats, we put them here, and then we just, once you put them here, they affect all these other notes that should be there. So if you want to do that, for example, and you should know the way you position your flat. So for your flat, you don't just write, say, okay, for example, this is B flat, E flat. What are the flats there? Let's write it out. What are the flats we have there? We have E flat. We have what again? It has to be in order. We have A flat. All right. And then we have B flat, right? Good. So you can't just say, okay, where is E? This is E. Let me put flat here. Why will you put it here? There is a proper place to put it. The same thing with sharp. You don't just put it anywhere that it happens. So normally for flats, try to look for the first letter should be down. Then the next letter up. So it goes like this. Then the next letter somewhere down. So it goes down, up, down, up. All right? If it is sharp, it's the opposite. Up, down, up, down. That is why your F sharp, you put it here, you don't put it here. Okay? Aha. So if we want to put this now, the problem is, because this is E flat, if they ask you to arrange this, E should not be the first flat, actually. What should be the first flat? B flat. Because remember, in the flat family, B is the first born. The first person to become flat in the flat family is B. You remember in the scale of F major. Then E came along. So you have to make sure. So don't just say, oh, this is the flat. You just put them in. You have The same thing with sharp. Who is the first sharp? You give honor to whom honor is due. All right? And then see, are they coming up? Are they coming up? So even if you are doing it with 3 sharps, all the sharps, you have to arrange them in the order of occurrence on the major scale. So in this case now, if I want to put this B, where is my B? Every good boy. So this is the only B, so no controversy. There is no up or down. Put this here. Then E, okay, so should I put it here or here? Where should I put it? Up, because remember down, up. So I put it here as not on the same line, just a little bit close. Then next one is A. This is A, right? This is A. Okay, no, this is another A here on this. Should I put it here or down? Should I put it on? So it has to be down because so where is the A here? Before B, yeah. So once you do this now, what does this imply? You can cancel out all these ones. All right? You can cancel out all the other flats because it means that everywhere B, E, and A appears on the note, they are flattened automatically. Okay? So please, when you are asked to identify a major scale, don't just, and you see sharps or flats, don't just say, oh, maybe there's nothing there, it's C major. No. You can be, maybe it's an accidental method they want you to identify. Or it could be, maybe they can ask you to, if you see if the key signature is there, it's easier, right? You can just look at how many flats, 1 flat, F major, 2 flats, B flat major, 3 flats, E flat major. Just circle of fourths. If you want to know the number, you've done circle of fourths, am I right? Yeah. So to identify flats, you go circle of fourths. From C major, you count 4. F, that's 1 flat. You count another 4. B flat, that's 2 flats. Another 4, E flat. So you understand, to know what next flat. For sharps, is circle of what? Circle of fifths. Circle of fifths. Okay? So please note those. These are different things to help you so that you are not confused in the exam.